Let's switch gears now. We'll be talking about the APC and their preparations ahead of tomorrow. I'm being joined by yet another very eloquent and another one that is very difficult to have a debate with in terms of he convinces you in some ways in his eloquence. He's an engineer turned politician, the executive governor of Nasarawa State, who chairs the media subcommittee of the APC National Convention. Governor Abdullahi Sule is here with me in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for having me.
I saw that you were smiling when the Minister Fashola was talking about those figures. But first and foremost, I guess is a good time for us to clear some air about what is happening in your party. First and foremost, let's look into the issue of the meeting with President Buhari, with some of the legacy or the founding members of the APC. What came out of that meeting? Was it the fact that the president was able to convince them on who will become the next president or the next presidential candidate of the party?
Thank you very much, Sean, for having me. I think first and foremost, it's an opportunity, for the president to remind all the major stakeholders. He started the meeting with the governors, and then he met with the aspirants, and then he met with all the legacy founding fathers of the party. And the message was the same, continuously. This is what we have done. This is where we have been. This is where we are today, and we must do everything to keep this party united, keep the people united, continue to provide all the good things that we have been providing for the people of Nigeria, but more importantly, ensure that we go into this election united so that we can win this election. I think that has been the message as far as the president is concerned, since he started up till this moment.
I'm not sure your party or any party, PDP has had its own fair share of problems. APGA has had its own fair share of problems. And the APC, this is perhaps the most tumultuous and the most turbulent period of the life of this party in the last 8 years. The unity of this party, you are re-echoing it, that you want unity. It's obvious that the party is in disarray. You're trying to just hold it together. That is not, going to stretch. But obviously, there is one factor that is holding the party together, and it's Muhammadu Buhari, who is the leader of the party. People would say, analyze that if not for Buhari, this party would have long been forgotten. What has divided your party this badly?
Well, I don't know about the division you are talking about so badly. Some of the information you hear and some of the news you see and everything that you hear about political parties are far worse than what you see in APC. Yes, we have had situations where, remember, this party is being run by a caretaker committee. And as a result, these were people who were brought in together. Some of them has experience in running political parties. Some of them don't. And they were brought in together, to see the takeover, at a time we were having challenges, with the unity of the party. And they had taken over and they did their best. Because even when they took over, you can see they were able to get at least 3 sitting governors of the different and they were able to join us. So if we were so much in this disarray that you have mentioned, probably those people will not join us. So many parliamentarians have actually joined us. So many members of the State House of Assembly have joined us. Not one, governor actually left, from APC to another one. So I don't know the disarray that you are talking about.
Because your opposition make a mockery of how you are not able to stage an election. You've had a caretaker committee for almost 2 years. What more can be of a disarray than that? No, a political organization that cannot hold a national convention for several months. You've been planning this.
Well, when we have it tomorrow, all that will come to an end. You have to understand the various things that have happened during the period. This is a party that when we came in, we didn't even have a register. And so many political parties today don't have register. So they came in, the first thing they needed to do, we gave them 6 months, to go ahead and actually have the convention. But they realized we didn't even have a register. So to have a convention, what are you going to use as your base? It took us a while to go ahead and ensure that we have a register. So after having the register, then we went through the various stages. Remember, this is all the same time period of the COVID. that they had to go through. They say, no, certain people couldn't get together. If it was consensus, you couldn't do that. So with all those challenges, at least behind us now, tomorrow, by the grace of God, we're having a convention.
Hopefully, you'll be able to have a convention.
We are having a convention.
I mean, I've, in my life, covering politics, that ground has been very historic for political parties. The PDP, at a year, NPDP walked out of a sitting president at that arena. I hope that doesn't happen to your party.
No.
Because that was the beginning of a certain end for the PDP. That's how they lost power in 2015. In 2014, there was a walkout of governors and leaders of the party at that same arena. And similar thing that was happening in the PDP is happening in your party. The big question is now that the issue of consensus. You are, interestingly, you are in the middle here, because you have a Tankwal Makura, you have an Adamu Abdullahi, but it does look, we're hearing now that the president favors Adamu Abdullahi. Is it the consensus candidate for the chairmanship seat?
Well, the president has spoken, and I think it has already become so public. The president had sat down actually with all these other aspirants, and the president had disclosed to the aspirants, his direction. And the aspirants have been meeting, and I believe this evening they are also going to make a decision, out of respect for the president, to say that, yes, the president, we are going to go. So you can now see the difference between what we are talking about and what you said happened in 2015 when some people walk out. So tomorrow you won't see anybody walking out, you will only see people walking in. This I promise you.
There's a walkout today already. A deputy speaker of the former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Lassun, has walked out of your party. That's a walkout. On the eve of your party, such a leader in the party has staged a walkout.
We had people better than him. We have 3 governors, sitting governors, that had walked in. So if one person walk out, we had 3 sitting governors that walk in. And we had so many of his own category, speakers, members of House of Assembly, these other people have walked in, during this period. So that's what I'm telling you. That one may be some problem in Oshun that I'm not aware of, and I'm not competent to speak on something like that I don't know. But I don't think that is a major issue as far as this convention is concerned. So I think it's one thing that has happened. It's similar to, you see, I was smiling actually when we had Babatunde Fashola actually speaking. He spoke eloquently, as far as what the government has done. But one area, because that's why he is telling you that you are looking at it from one angle. You are not looking at the total picture. Why? If somebody will ask you, okay, fine. Yeah, you have mentioned about prices that have moved up. This has moved up. I know you are an investigative journalist, and you know this. In 2015, when this government came to power, the total revenue realized from VAT was roughly about 750 billion. By 2021, that amount had more than doubled to over 1.5 trillion. So these are the kinds of things that you have seen. Now, going into the capital market, in 2015, the total capitalization of the capital market that you are mentioning was roughly just about 7 trillion. Today, as we are talking about, as at this morning, is over 25 trillion. In 2015, no company in Nigeria was making more than 100 billion naira PBT. Today, we had several institutions that are making over 300 billion. So, and I can go on and on and on so that you can see the positive aspect of that.
Your Excellency, people will argue that you're quoting these figures and the differentials of all of these sectors. But the question is, you are here to serve Nigerians.
Yes.
And they don't care all of those figures. They care about the food on their table.
Yes.
And the money that they can take home. If they bought, for example, if you look at some of those figures again, and I can tell you boldly that some of them, sardine, fish, in the can, how much was it in 2020? 200 naira. It's 600 naira today.
Yes.
If there are FDI for that man, the millions of Nigerians who bought 200 naira sardine 2 years ago and buying 600 naira, do they care about such a thing?
No, they do.
Cooking gas, 3,500 2 years ago, 8,000 naira this time around. Rice, 25,000 2 years ago. We say we are producing more. It's 30,000 naira. Now, 5,000 is fertilizer. 2 years ago, it's 16,000 naira. Inflation, 13%. Is now 15%. Now, they are buying diesel. Those who are doing business business are buying diesel at the rate of 650 naira. It's even more than that, 700, 800 naira. People can no longer run their business because of the cost of diesel.
Okay,
These are what matter.
Go back to 1998. That's what matters. Go back to 1998 before PDP came in. The price of petrol and the exchange rate was 18 naira. By the time they left, was close to 200 naira. You know, you don't look at things that way. Look at them globally. I live in the US most of my life. After I graduated from school, we were buying 1 gallon of gasoline, whether it is 87, 97, or 93 octane. We were buying, nothing was more than $1. I just came back from the US now. The price was more than $5 per gallon. You know,
that's a full-blown capitalist economy.
Yeah, but these are global changes you are talking about.
Your government promised. For example, one of the promises of your government is that you are going to make $1 equivalent to a naira. Those are some of the promises. You said that you are going to make electricity better. Electricity is worse now.
No.
These are the promises you made to Nigerians.
No, electricity is better.
And we're not holding you up to the things that you did not say. No. Those are the things that you said you were going to do.
No. Electricity is better in most places. You are now looking at just what happened, you know, when we were having some challenges. I saw when you mentioned, you know, it was 5,400 megawatts and now 2,000 megawatts because of the challenges you have today. Look at the number of substations that have been built today. Look at the number that you have built. You have built 3 times the number of 330 substations during this administration than we have had that time. You had given more opportunities for generation of power that we had had in the past. You know, these are also issues that are completely different, you know, from what you are saying. But you are looking just at a window of when there are lots of, today we're having queues at the petrol stations. We didn't have queues in the past 2 years, if you remember. But today we're having, so if you just pick today as an issue, you will be running it through this. But if you have picked over this period of time, then it's completely different. That's what I'm trying to
The analogy that I would probably put is for a chef who say, I've been cooking for you for a very long time and you've had no food poison, but you had a food poison today that you can die of.
Yeah.
I mean, and you say, oh, I've been cooking for you for several years. It does look like that kind of explanation you are giving tonight.
No, it's not.
That we have been serving you and there's been no problem. But now that there's a problem, you should overlook it. Nigerians are suffering. We're queuing at filling station. Fuel that we have in abundance under the soil and we are unable to refine on the Nigerian soil. We take them abroad and we subsidize at a very incredible and ridiculous amount.
Yes.
I mean,
and this was the practice. But fortunately, today we are having things different. Just this week, Mr. President actually went to Lagos and commissioned, for the first time, a 3 million metric tons fertilizer. For the first time, Nigeria is exporting fertilizer. So prices of fertilizer will change.
By Dangote
for the first time.
Dangote group of
the federal government of Nigeria provided all the support. Dangote will not be able to operate without.
The Nigerian government doesn't have a working refinery.
Well, and that's why Nigeria, the government anywhere, not just in Nigeria, government anywhere finds it very difficult to run businesses. Believe me. You know, and that is the reason why government has no business being in business. But what this government realizes is that they provide the opportunities. It is this government that is providing the opportunity for the same Dangote to actually build a 600,000 barrels per day refinery, similar to the 450,000 capacity that we have that never operated. You know, so if government realizes that you have a vision that you cannot do it, then you give it to the right people that can do it. That is what the government has realized.
We just have a few minutes left on the program, and I have a few questions to ask you in relation to tomorrow.
Okay.
Is your party ready for the convention?
We are more than ready. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we are going to go into the convention as united people, and we are going to come out, you know, out of that convention without any rancor.
Is the unity list ready?
Unity list is, it was ready by the time I was leaving.
So we have a unity list.
You have a
for all the position, there is just a single candidate for them.
All the positions.
And they have, I mean, you know what the new electoral law says about consensus, that they all have to sign.
We are a law-abiding political party. We will not do one thing. In fact, this evening, we came to also realize that some of the delegates that were delegates before they got political appointments, the moment we realize that they have political appointments now, even though they qualified as delegates, you know, they have been removed, because we are a party that believes in the rule of law.
Even if they are statutory delegates?
Even if they are statutory. As long as they do not meet up with the Electoral Act requirements, you know, they were removed.
So Governor Fashola, for example, will not be a voting delegate tomorrow.
I don't know about whether he was even a delegate at all or not.
As a former governor?
As a former governor, he could be a delegate, but if he has political office, we have, for instance, the minister from my state. He has been taken out as a delegate in line with, to make sure that we live
Isn't that
within
very
the law.
painful, though?
Huh?
Isn't that very painful?
Well, that's the law. Sometimes the law is painful.
All right. So you've met all the requirements for the as far as the electoral law is concerned in terms of how to settle for consensus candidate.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Adamu Abdullahi is a consensus. You can confirm to us tomorrow. He's almost, presumed as the chairman of the party.
He is.
Okay, interesting. But people are agitating.
Agitating for what?
We had people on the program yesterday that said this is imposition, not a consensus.
No, imposition is different from consensus. Consensus is one of the requirements. It's provided by our constitution, and it's not against the Electoral Act. Because some people are saying it's not in the Electoral Act. It may not be, but the Electoral Act is also not against consensus. So there are two different things, and that's the reason why Mr. President refused to sign when we box each other to only one aspect of selection, and they remove it. So since they remove it, then all the three options, direct, indirect, and consensus are allowed, and that's the direction we are going. So we are not in violation of the law.
On a final note, the PDP has gone to court that your party should be deregistered because your party has, according to them, based on section 223 now, I think, 223. Constitution and rules of political parties, that your party has run far of it.
There is no way to come through the back door to take power away from a political party that people, majority of the people, today we have over 41 million Nigerians who are members of this party. We have seen President Muhammadu Buhari elected massively by Nigerians. Our elections are different from the PDP's. Elections were not rigged. Elections went through the due process and people were elected. So if they want to come to 2023 purely for election, it's better for them to come. Going through this back door to remove this governor here, remove that here, now remove a whole political party here, it's not going to work. Just get ready for election. That's the only way that will work.
His Excellency, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, Executive Governor of Nasarawa State and the Chair of the Media Subcommittee. I was going to ask you about the committee, the special committee that has been set up to be chaired by Governor Uzodinma. This is basically to settle the consensus. The letter that was sent, I guess if you can put the letter on, to settle the issue of consensus, isn't it? That's the idea.
Yes. Oh. Yes. Just to make sure most of these issues that you have mentioned were actually in line. We are not in violation of the law in any way. So you can now see what I mean by when I tell you that we are a law-abiding political party. So we have a whole committee of people who understand what they are doing to ensure that we are not in violation of the law in any way. That's what the committee is supposed to do.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I appreciate it. And I wish you the very best in your committee and the convention tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. Well, before you go, know that tomorrow, Channels Television, your home for political reportage, will be on the ground at the Eagle Square and will give you all-round reporting of the convention of the APC. Stay with us throughout tomorrow and perhaps on Sunday for the coverage of the APC National Convention. That's all we can give you tonight, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.